What's going on YouTube? Ferocity here. Hope you guys are doing well. Skill-based matchmaking is always a highly debated, highly contested subject throughout the Call of Duty community. There is a loud minority of people that absolutely hate it, and I'm one of those people. But there is a majority of players that actually enjoy it, or they're just oblivious to its existence and they just let it be part of the game because they don't know any better, and that's totally fine. I'm not here to debate whether or not skill-based matchmaking should or shouldn't be in Call of Duty. Instead, I want to debate whether or not skill-based matchmaking has led to this community getting better over time. And this comes to me from a video from Nero Cinema, an OG YouTuber who's been around the block. And honestly, I share a lot of the same beliefs in the Call of Duty community and in the Call of Duty franchise as a whole as Nero Cinema does. But he stated that he doesn't feel like he's gotten much better throughout this era of Call of Duty. And I tend to agree with him. There was a time where I felt I was getting significantly better at Call of Duty. I can always go back to the COD 4 MW2 days where I literally stunk at this game and had a negative KD. But I'd rather go to the games where I saw myself progress from a 1.5 to a 2 KD, for instance, and actually saw myself get better at the game as I learned more about it. Understood how to take advantage of certain angles, understood how to navigate certain maps, understood how to properly customize each weapon to maximize its usefulness, so I'd have an advantage over other people. That was the basis of me getting better. But under this skill-based matchmaking system, I don't sense as if the game cares if I get better. It's not rewarding me to get better, but at the same time, I don't think it wants you to get better. I think Activision would prefer you stay within this certain skill bracket, and that's it, that's all. You play against the same opponents all the time, and you don't try to improve. Because it makes the algorithm have to work harder if you start to improve. And we've seen what happens if you start to reverse boost. Once you start doing really poorly, the algorithm gets all funky and you get some truly bot level games. But my main point and my main argument here is there was an element of Call of Duty where you used to want to get better. It wasn't for everybody. Some people just liked grinding challenges. Some people just liked hopping on after work and having some fun with friends. But they've kind of eliminated that social aspect from Call of Duty. Trying to play with friends is a chore because of the skill-based matchmaking system. Something that people who love it never seem to realize. But that's beside the point. People still grind challenges and that's perfectly fine. But for those who want to challenge themselves and want to see themselves physically get better, you don't have that anymore in this game. You don't have that anymore in Call of Duty. Because everything is so manipulated, you don't know whether you're getting better or the game is just feeding you an easier game. When you have completely random players to go against, you can have a sense whether or not you can read their play or not. And you have a sense if you're getting better or you're not. And there was metrics like KD that you used to look at and care about. I couldn't tell you the last time I cared about my stats in Call of Duty. And a lot of it has to do with the skill-based matchmaking system, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that I don't love the games like I used to. I used to care about my score per minute. I used to care about completing the challenges and all these things, but a lot of that fun has been sucked out of the game in exchange of Activision throwing these algorithms in to try to retain you as a player. I don't care about a game trying to retain me because the algorithm wants to retain me. I care about a game wanting to retain me because it's a good game, because it's a fun game, not a fundamentally flawed experience like what we have here in Call of Duty. And another thing that could retain me as a player is if I see myself physically getting better at the game. Unfortunately, that's not a priority for Call of Duty. And what we've seen with the skill-based matchmaking system is that it forces players to utilize the meta. Play with the meta and only the meta. And you grind to make sure that you play the meta. And it really becomes a boring and arduous process. A process that I don't really care about as much as I used to. Yeah, I've used meta weapons in the past. I also used a ton of meme weapons because it was fun to just goof around. Because Call of Duty used to be for goofing around. And now they don't do that. And if they create a meta weapon, it's normally extremely overpowered. I look to Modern Warfare 3 and those dual-wielding shotguns that were insanely overpowered and partially ruined Warzone as a result. And that's what Activision would rather fill their game with versus trying to push players in a direction of improving their aiming, improving their movement around the map, improving their map knowledge. I mean, the maps here in Black Ops 6 are terrible. And I think it lends itself to decrease the skill gap because they're so concerned about players getting good. I don't think Call of Duty wants good players. I don't think Call of Duty likes its pro scene. I think we've seen that with the lack of investment they've put into it. They couldn't care less if the pro scene succeeds. They don't want them. The people they want are the casuals. The people they want are those that are just going to drone on, not criticize them, and spend money in the store. Those are their target demographic now. It's not the people that grind for 5, 6, 7 hours a day trying to get better at the game, trying to learn the different parts of the game. That's not what they want. We're not the people they want. People who watch YouTube videos is not who Call of Duty wants. They don't actively pursue us. Sure, they get a few influences here and there. But how many of those influencers solely play Call of Duty? Very few of them. A lot of them that they bring to their Call of Duty events are variety streamers. They stream a variety of different games. But they know they're popular enough that, hey, if we can entice them with some Call of Duty for a couple weeks, it'll increase sales. They know exactly what they're doing. I've never said that Activision are stupid business people. They're extremely smart. And we allow them to take advantage of us at every single turn because we feed into our loyalty for the franchise. But I don't really want to rant on Activision here. Instead, I want to focus on the point that I'm trying to make, which is I think that there should be a place for Call of Duty players to want to get better. It doesn't need to be for everybody. I'm not saying everybody should want to be like Scump. Not everybody should want to be like the pros. But there should be a place for that. And unfortunately, right now with Call of Duty and the skill-based matchmaking system or the engagement-optimized matchmaking system, there is no place for that. Because the game wants to suppress you if you do well, and they want to promote you if you do poorly. Those are the two things that they care most about. They want to keep you relatively around the same KD and relatively around the same skill bracket. That's their focus. If they truly cared about moving this community forward, about moving the player base forward, they would open up the parameters a little bit. Because I'll tell you this, the best way to get better is to understand that you're bad at the game and learn from players who are better than you. But the skill-based matchmaking system is just throwing you against players at the same level as you that make the same mistakes you make. So it's harder to learn from those mistakes. It's harder to learn how to do better. And because there's so much more cheese in Call of Duty now than there's ever been before, it also puts you in situations that are completely unwinnable almost 90% of the time. So to conclude this video off, I'm very curious to know whether or not you feel you've gotten better at Call of Duty over the last 5 years, or you feel more or less stagnant with your overall skill. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in that comment section. And I thank you all very much for watching. I don't personally feel as if I've gotten better at Call of Duty. I wouldn't say I've necessarily gotten worse either. It just feels more or less the same. But that's it for the video today. I thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time.